I'm curious, could you maybe share what you're seeing from the policy landscape of how we're approaching these questions nationally or internationally?
Like, it's very interesting to see how AI is being looked at from different parties, right? Like, I think definitely on like the US front, it's very much just like, oh, hey, this is like a very important like piece of like the future's economy, and like we want to be able to build like the first like AGI or something like this and be able to distribute it all across the world, so everyone's using like America's AGI. And we have to win this like battle against China and building this, so that way we don't have like, I don't know, communist AI like being distributed all across the world or something like this. There's a number of things like really wrong with this like model, which I won't get too much into. But yeah, I think that's like how a lot of people within like the national government are thinking about it. It's kind of like a national security thing. Also, like, how can we apply like AI within like our government to be able to automate things? Like, how can we deploy it like within our military to automate various like administrative functions and things like this? And there's a worry that like if you don't stay on top of AI, then you'll kind of fall behind. Like, you'll be like less efficient, less powerful, less effective than like your like other geopolitical competitors, China. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah. So that's, I think, how like most people are looking at it within government. I think like within like AI safety, like within the AI safety community within DC, there's like a very wide range of topics that are being covered. Some are kind of looking at like, actually like, okay, how can we actually make sure that like frontier AI model development stays within the US as opposed to being like outsourced overseas? So that like looks a lot like a like regulated supply chains, be able to do like verification of like locations in which like chips are being used, so that way if like China smuggles it or something like this, then we're actually able to like know this, and maybe even like use hardware-enabled governance to like shut down the chips themselves that are being in use. So like I would say like there's maybe that aspect. So there's like a lot of technical research that are being done that is being done to like kind of help out like geopolitical situations, specifically like the hardware type stuff. There's also a lot of people interested in like more threat models than just like, I would say like the technical AI safety scene is really worried about like kind of like this rogue superintelligence model, which I guess we can get into later. But I think a lot of people within policy are very much like, there are a ton of different ways in which like AI could like threaten us, right? So there's like, there could be power concentration within like either the government or within like the economy, kind of like manipulation of like our information environments on social media. There are people who are worried about like a topic called gradual disempowerment, which is like once we actually start automating away like various parts of like our economy, culture, government, etc., like we'll kind of like lose control of these systems. And in a way, like today, we aren't fully in control of like our systems of government. Like there are all the time like things that no one really wants to happen that just kind of happen just because of like the institutional momentum that is like there. Yeah, and then there are people worried about like really concrete like specialized threat scenarios, right? Like there's like one paper on AI Coups in which it talks about how like within like militaries today, you kind of have like people who are there within the military, and in some way they need to like approve of what is going on and how force, like physical force and violence, is being used within your like state or country, right? And there's been like numerous instances where it's like, oh, the dictator is actually just so bad that like, you know, the military themselves like rise up against them, or maybe they just like step aside as like the revolutionaries kind of come in and take over, right? But when you have like AI-enabled militaries, then you also have this risk of like you have like a singular loyalty, right? Like you actually have one person who's in charge, able to like orchestrate attacks and all these different things. So it actually enables like an insane amount of like actual authoritarian, like an autocracy that isn't capable today. Like even dictators kind of have to rely on the people and like their usefulness to be able to do the things that they need to do to be able to like govern and maintain control within the nation. Yeah. So like, there's that aspect, and like in AI-enabled coups, there's kind of this idea that like because of how like uninterpretable models are today, like they're so like vastly non-transparent that like it could have like a lot of secret loyalties just like within the systems, and maybe a backdoored model could just like flip, and then all of a sudden like it's the military, the entire like state's military is in charge, is like being led by a single person who is like maybe not the person in charge, or maybe if it's even like the person in charge, and then they're able to just like you know, exert force and violence, like have a complete monopoly on it. So there's like, yeah, risks there.